Hey everyone, so this is my review of Emergence, Season 1, Episode 2, called Camera, Wheelbarrow, Tiger, Pillow. And essentially what this episode is about is that Joe continues to look into the mystery surrounding Piper, and while doing so, a mysterious man shows up in town that she has to try and stop from getting a hold of Piper. And while this all is going on, Piper sort of learns to understand her newer abilities more and sort of works to try and connect with Joe and the family more as well. And this was a really interesting episode that definitely had a lot of really good moments to it and had a very good sort of storyline and plot around this mysterious man. And this episode did do definitely a whole lot better job than the first episode at having the story revolve around this mystery man and sort of having everything in this episode revolve around that. And that made for a bunch of really good moments in there. And I really, really love that whole scene with the mysterious man showing up at Joe's house and sort of almost confronting Piper. But his whole goal there and stuff was a bit confusing, where they made it seem like at first that he was there to get a hold of the weird card or microchip thing that Joe found at the end of the last episode. But then it later seemed like he was there to get Piper and follow the weird chip that she pulled out of her head at the end of the last episode. So that was a bit confusing. If he was there for this card, why was he tracking Piper instead? And why didn't he go directly to Piper's room to get the card? Instead, he went and found the weird little orb thing that she had in her head, and then eventually found Piper and was about to grab a hold of her somewhat, it seemed like, or tell her to keep quiet about what she knows, and then he left. So what was his whole goal there was very confusing, but still it made for a really cool and interesting scene to see how Piper tried to hide, but her powers were sort of preventing her from doing so, and just sort of seeing how this guy dealt with and did everything around that was very interesting and great to see. And then I'm very curious to see what's going to happen in the future with this sort of transistor radio that Joe got a hold of that was connected to the plane and has this weird effect whenever it's turned on and has any sort of magnetic disturbance around it. And I'm very curious to see what those weird pulses might lead to with Joe in the future surrounding Piper and the plane crash. Then everything with the reporter and Joe choosing to go to him with a bunch of what she does know and finally sort of divulging everything to him was very interesting to see. And I really liked how he ended this episode with the comment of, if you don't want me to explain the whole truth, then sort of why are you telling me this? And Joe's whole explanation around that was really interesting to hear, and I'm very curious to see where that all leads to in the future. Then everything with Alex in this episode was really great, with him being like the one sort of person with common sense of being like, no, we really shouldn't have Piper sticking around because wherever she seems to go, danger seems to follow. And that's a problem for us. And him sort of making that statement known, but then also choosing to then later be there for the family as a whole when he realizes that none of the rest of them are going to sort of change their opinions on Piper. So him choosing to be there as an extra support system and stuff was really great to see. And I'm just really curious to see to what lengths Alex is willing to go to be there for the family, but also still wanting to be there as somewhat of a conscience sense to this very outrageous sort of world that the rest of them have thrown into there for Piper. And I guess another way to put that is sort of what lengths is he willing to go and where is he going to draw the line and sort of be willing to sacrifice Piper to save the rest of the family. That I'm very curious to see. Then just overall, this was a really fun and entertaining episode, and I'm just really enjoying seeing how they're building up this mystery, and I'm very curious to see where everything's going to lead and where the whole story is going to go. And I'm just really excited to see what they're going to do next. So yeah, that's my review of Emergence, Season 1, Episode 2, called Camera, Wheelbarrow, Tiger, Pillow. So yeah, bye!